Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're diving into Haze Reverb and aren't sure which character to pick for your next battle, don't worry, you're in the right place. In today's video, we'll be breaking down our ultimate Haze Reverb tier list, ranking each character from top tier legends to the ones that might make you question your choices. Whether you're all about high damage, defense, or utility, we've got you covered with all the info you need to make your gameplay smoother and more strategic. And hey, we know it can be a little frustrating when you don't get the character you want, right? That's why we'll also walk you through the process of re-rolling in Haze Reverb to help you guarantee that perfect pick. No more random chances, just a solid way to get exactly what you need to dominate those battles. So stick around, smash that like button, and let's jump right into the rankings. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking characters in Haze Reverb. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
My friends, only 0.1% of viewers subscribe. If you like this type of content, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you in advance for your support.
The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Belina, Odora, Shiranui, Tenten, Skadi, Rue, Julia, Lilith, Isiphalis, Kuriyama, Fleur, Franca, and Kinkura. Alright, let's dive right into the bottom of the barrel, the D tier characters of Haze Reverb. These characters may have their moments, but they're just not quite cutting it compared to the heavy hitters in the game. If you're looking to build a powerful team, these characters should probably be at the bottom of your priority list. But hey, that's what we're here for, right? To break it all down so you don't waste any time on the wrong picks. First up, we've got Belina from the Ashes faction. She's an assault character, but honestly, she doesn't really pack enough punch to make a real impact. Sure, she's a 1-star, so expectations shouldn't be sky high, but even for a low tier character, her abilities feel pretty underwhelming. If you're hoping she'll carry you through the tough battles, think again. She's more of a speed bump than a powerhouse. Then we have Odora from the Soul Destroyers. As a support character, you'd expect her to at least help the team stay afloat, but unfortunately, Odora doesn't quite live up to the support role. Her healing and buffs are decent at best, but they're not nearly strong enough to really tip the scales in your favor. If you're serious about building a support-heavy squad, you'll need to look elsewhere. Moving on to Shiranui, another 1-star firepower unit. She's part of the Furinkazan faction, but like Belina, she's just not firing on all cylinders. For a firepower unit, you'd want someone who can dish out the damage consistently, but Shiranui feels more like a wet firecracker. You might get some hits in, but don't expect her to be your main source of offense when things get intense. Now let's talk about Tenten, another assault character, this time from the fledgling Eagles. She's got the potential, but unfortunately her stats and abilities fall flat when compared to other assault units in the game. Her attacks are nothing to write home about, and she struggles to keep up with the tougher foes you'll face as you progress. If you're aiming for a balanced team, Tenten's probably one to leave behind. And last but not least, let's look at Skadi from Moon Corona. She's also an assault character, but much like the others, she just doesn't make the cut. Sure, she's got some cool abilities, but in the grand scheme of things, they just don't do enough to justify her spot in the team. If you're looking for a reliable assault unit to take on heavy hitters, Skadi is probably better off staying out of the spotlight. So there you have it. D tier characters in Haze Reverb. These characters might look decent on paper, but when it comes to actual gameplay, they just don't have the juice to get you far. Save your time and resources for the stronger, more reliable units, and let these ones fade into the background. Trust me, your squad will thank you for it. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Krim, Dolores, Hanakotal, Jususoldrus, Hanakotoba, Hank, Hotarugusa, Tina, Maker, Salati, Morimura, Kinosuke, and Uki. Let's dive right into the C tier characters of Haze Reverb, where we find some interesting yet underwhelming picks. These characters might not steal the show, but they can still help you out, at least for a little while, until you roll some higher tier units. They won't exactly push you to victory, but they'll certainly make the grind a bit more manageable. So let's talk about some of these characters who'll fill the gaps in your roster, but not necessarily take the spotlight. First up, we have Krim. She's a support character who activates buffs for herself and her allies, which is always helpful. But at 1-star, she's a bit of a paper tiger. Sure, her buffs can help your team stay afloat, but there's just not enough power here to make her a long-term solution. If you're in a pinch though, Krim can be the boost you need for a short time. Next, we've got Dolores, a guard from the 3rd Laboratory Defense Squad. Dolores isn't bad, but she's definitely not the frontline powerhouse you might be hoping for. As a 1-star unit, her ability to tank hits just doesn't cut it, and her utility drops off pretty fast when you start pulling better guards. But hey, if you're just starting out or trying to fill your ranks, Dolores can at least help you take a few hits without completely falling apart. Moving on, let's talk about Hanakotoba, a firepower character from the Shingyu house. Hanakotoba's role is clear, damage dealer, but as a 1-star, her firepower is underwhelming. If you want to rely on raw damage to push through tougher stages, you're going to need someone stronger. But in the meantime, she can help soften up the enemies before you bring in your heavy hitters. Then we have Hank, a guard from the Cavaliers who applies the focus effect on an enemy, making them the primary target. This effect can be useful for controlling the flow of battle, especially when you need to focus on a specific enemy. But with his low star rating, Hank's impact is limited, and he doesn't have the durability or the damage output to really shine. He's decent for early stages, but quickly falls off in later content. Lastly, let's not forget about Hotarugusa, another support unit from Shingyu House. She's here to give a helping hand, but honestly, her role feels more like a filler than a core asset to the team. She does what she can, but with her 1-star status, don't expect her to be a game changer. If you find yourself needing extra support or just filling out your squad, Hotarugusa will serve the purpose, but you'll want to replace her as soon as possible. So, while these characters aren't exactly the stars of Haze Reverb, they do have their moments. They're great for filling out your roster and supporting your team in the early stages, but don't expect them to carry you far in the long run. Keep an eye on those higher tier characters, because once you roll them, these C tier picks will likely be left behind. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Alaita, Jacksui, Skadi Swimsuit, Mojin, Rosalind, Hoshi, Momo, Suzu, Yanyanlo, Anan, Istari, Senhaku, Flora, Tsukomo Tamaki, Lilaps, Jenny, Hurley, Chenglian, Lydia, Dorothy Swimsuit, and Caroline. Alright, let's talk about some characters in Haze Reverb who might not be your top picks but are still worth considering. Yep, I'm talking about B tier characters. They're not exactly making waves, but they definitely have their moments. So, if you're looking for some middle ground options for your team, these guys might just fit the bill. But don't get too comfy with them, alright? There are better out there waiting for you to discover. First up, let's talk about Alaita, a 2-star guard from the 3rd Laboratory Defense Squad. She's your reliable frontline character, just not the flashiest. You'll see her holding her own in battle, but don't expect her to be the game changer. Still, if you're just starting out or need someone to cover the basics, Alaita's got your back. Then we've got Jacksui, another 2-star guard, but from the ninja group. Now Jacksui's a bit more of a surprise package. He's got some cool skills and skills that make him stand out in certain situations, but overall, he's not the kind of character you'd want to carry your entire team. He's more of a nice addition to the squad when you need a bit of extra muscle, but not the star of the show. Now, if you're looking for a bit of an edge in the attack department, you might want to check out Skadi, Swimsuit. She's an assault character from the other faction, and while she can dish out some decent damage, she's not exactly going to leave your enemies quaking in their boots. Skadi's one of those characters that does her job well enough, but doesn't have the same oomph as the heavy hitters you'll encounter later on. And hey, if you're looking for a support character that can add a little extra something to your team, Hoshi is a solid pick. This 2-star support from Shingyu House boosts the attack power of allies with more than 50% HP. Nice, right? It's not game breaking, but it's definitely useful when you need to squeeze out a little extra damage. Hoshi is that silent helper in the background, nothing flashy, but essential to your team's overall success. Oh, and Momo's here too, Ushahab, and I'm here too. This 2-star firepower character from Wellfall is all about recovery. Whenever an enemy gets defeated, Momo recovers 4% of her max HP. It's not a huge amount, but it can definitely keep her in the fight longer than you'd expect. Momo might not be the strongest out there, but she's got staying power, and that's always handy in the long run. To wrap things up, B-tier characters in Haze Reverb are those middle-of-the-road options that you don't need to build your whole strategy around, but can definitely help in a pinch. Sure, they're not the stars of the show, but they've got their roles, and if you use them wisely, they'll still bring something valuable to the team. Just remember, as you progress, you'll likely want to swap them out for some of the higher tier characters who can really take your squad to the next level. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Celicia, Alice, Charlissa, Samgurma, Chiaki, Jakujai, Shichaki, Jawu, Shiemeng, Shisha, Suzu Swimsuit, Lapani, Rodninia, Evgenia, Suzuki, Gurai, Julius, Nozomi, Swimsuit, Mira, Alvit, Cosgard, Morgan Le Fay, Jin, Farnese, Christina, Korowan, Heaney, Karen, Gero, Maria, Mizo, Kurobanen, Lifa, Shirogane, Momoka, Stella, Maybell, Vega, Goria, Mitashiva, Vesper, and Kafka. Let's talk about the heroes who don't quite make it to the top tier, but are still incredibly strong and definitely worth your attention in Haze Reverb. These A tier characters are solid picks and can easily hold their own in battle, so don't be discouraged by their ranking. They may not be the flashiest or the most powerful, but they're definitely not to be underestimated. Take Silesia, for example. With a solid 60% damage of her attack power aimed at a target, she brings some nice damage potential to the table. Plus, she's part of the Iron Crow faction, which is a great bonus. Then there's Alice, who impressively lands 5 normal attacks each turn, giving her solid consistency in battle. She's in Cavaliers, so you know she's backed by a reliable faction too. Charlissa might be a 2-star character, but she's part of the Danube Special Joint Task Force, which gives her a strategic edge. You can't ignore the utility of characters like her. Sometimes, it's about the team synergy. If you're into raw damage, Chiaki's got you covered with her 180% attack power damage. And as part of the penalized faction, she's got a strong backing for those tough fights. Looking for a versatile support character? Zhao Wu is your guy. His support abilities in Ping Xin make him a great addition to any squad. And if you're looking for a more aggressive support, Xiao Meng is another solid choice in the same faction. Shisha and Suzu, Swimsuit, are also strong options for players who love dealing a good amount of firepower. They're versatile, with plenty of potential to fit in almost any team. Lapani, another firepower character from Iron Crow, brings a solid punch as well. You've also got Rodinia, who's part of the 3rd Laboratory Defense Squad and deals great damage while keeping things interesting with her assault abilities. But it's not all about damage. Sometimes you need characters who can boost your team's overall survivability, like Evgenia, who brings firepower to the table and makes it counter with her Cannonball faction. Mobility is key in Haze Reverb, and Suzuki understands that perfectly. With a permanent 20% boost to her own mobility, she's going to be moving around the map like a pro. Meanwhile, characters like Gulrai from Ninja Group bring some speed and stealthy moves that might just surprise your enemies. And let's not forget about Julius. He's got stun abilities that can change the course of battle in your favor. Now, we've talked about some heavy hitters, but don't sleep on characters like Nozomi, Swimsuit. She might not seem like much at first glance, but her guard role with Other makes her a solid, reliable pick for your defense. On the flip side, Christina brings damage that might surprise you, especially when combined with her role as a guard from the Ring of Infinity faction. There's just so much to appreciate about these A-tier characters. They might not steal the spotlight, but they shine in their own right. Whether you're working with Sam Grummer's firepower or taking advantage of Rodnia's strategic positioning, these A-tier characters all bring something valuable to your roster. They're not S-tier, but they can definitely hold their ground, supporting the team and dealing out damage when it matters most. So if you're still building your squad, consider giving some of these underrated heroes a try. You won't regret it. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Avati, Flovera, Charlissa Valentine, Ilya, Xiaoyan, Yina Shaman, Lily, Yakurant, Loki, Cynthia, and Cynemia, Kokorokami, Skadi Valentine, Zipar, Nastia, Story Transcendent, Lulula, Kyla, TPD-B2, Ophelia, Melia, Precio, and Genia. Alright, let's dive right into the absolute powerhouse characters in Haze Reverb. If you're looking for the best of the best, those characters that will carry you to victory without breaking a sweat, you've come to the right place. These S-tier characters are the ones you want on your team. They shine in every aspect of the game. Let's talk about why they deserve that top tier spot and which ones are totally worth your time. First up, we have Avati, a 3-star support character from Shumia. If you're all about boosting your team's effectiveness, Avati is a must-have. With her strong support abilities, she's like the glue that holds your squad together. She's not just a healer, she's a game changer in every battle. Then there's Flovera, another 3-star firepower from Shumia. This character brings the heat, literally. With her incredible firepower skills, Flovera can deal massive damage that leaves enemies in the dust. She's perfect for those who love to go on the offense and rack up the kills. If you need someone to dish out serious pain, Flovera's got your back. Charlissa Valentine is next on the list, and she's a 3-star guard from the Danube Special Task Force. What makes her stand out is her impressive durability and defensive prowess. Not only does she tank damage like a pro, but her presence on the battlefield can also be the difference between life and death for your team. Charlissa is a solid pick if you want to ensure your team has a sturdy backbone. For all you fans of explosive damage, Ilya, a 3-star firepower from Ashes, should be high on your list. Ilya's damage output is nothing short of insane, and with her high attack stats, she'll easily take down enemies before they even have a chance to fight back. She's perfect if you're looking to hit hard and fast, wiping out opponents in the blink of an eye. We can't forget Xiaoyan, a 3-star firepower from Pingshin. What makes her truly special is her ability to boost her attack power right at the start of a battle. This gives her a major edge in those early moments, letting her deal devastating damage before your opponent has time to react. If you want someone who can dominate right out of the gate, Xiaoyan is your girl. Now, let's talk about Lily, a 3-star guard from Hydra. Not only does she tank damage, but she also brings some serious offensive capabilities to the table. Lily's ability to deal 220% damage of her attack power to the enemy target makes her a force to be reckoned with. She's the perfect combination of offense and defense, and that's exactly what you want from an S-tier character. Of course, we can't overlook Current, another 3-star guard, this time from Morning Sun. Current is all about versatility, providing a solid defense while also supporting the team. Her ability to hold the line while supporting her teammates makes her a valuable asset, and any team would be lucky to have her. You won't regret adding Current to your squad. So, there you have it folks. S-tier characters in Haze Reverb that will absolutely elevate your game. Whether you need support, firepower, or someone to take the hits for the team, these characters have you covered. They're the cream of the crop. And if you're serious about winning, they're your best bet. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.